What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the VR Link interview. Today we've got with us Ricardo Acosta. This guy has made something pretty amazing that I think went a little bit viral on Twitter, really, in terms of virtuality and stuff and hand tracking. Tell us about what you've been doing and what this is all about.
Yeah, I've been doing this. I had this idea a few months ago, where because I've been playing with the hand tracking on the Oculus Quest lately, and I got this idea. I wake up to this idea about creating something with a guitar, and yeah, I tried that for a week or so, and it was pretty solid. So I created a little video, put it online. And yeah, it kind of exploded. People really like the concept, and yeah, I don't know. It kind of shaped my life a little bit.
It's crazy because it looks. I mean, it sounds like you've sort of done it a bit by accident. Like you had a dream, and now you've made it. It looks actually of amazing quality. Like everything about it looks really cool. And obviously, hand tracking at the moment is like the subject. When it comes to the Oculus Quest, because it's such an amazing technology, and the Quest is obviously not that expensive for people to experience it. It's not a overly expensive headset. So what are your plans for this?
Yeah, well, I've been on the business for a while now. So I understand that every project is actually complicated. So even if it looks like a simple project and pretty straightforward, it's complicated. So I'm super conservative about this. So right now, what I'm trying to do is putting down a demo so people can actually use it and, give me feedback about, I don't know, whatever issue they could have about the hand tracking, or maybe the game is not fun for them or whatever, right? So my plan, what I'm working on right now, is putting down that demo. And when I got that ready and I get the feedback, the plan is kind of leaving my job maybe and just do this in a full-time manner. Maybe creating a Kickstarter or something, to ease the start of this idea. But yeah, to be fair, I'm super conservative about this. So my main goal is just to put down this demo together and release it to the public. So so we see if it actually works with other people, and it's a fun game. To be fair, I'm very confident that it will be the case because it's fun. Yeah. When I was shooting the video, it's really strange because inside, when you're in the game, you kind of feel like you're in a in a concert. You feel like a rock star. So you feel like you're moving wow, you're kind of crazy playing the game. But when you see the video, I'm actually super quiet and super serious, just doing that. And it's really strange, but it's also pretty awesome because that means that the game kind of change the perception of what you're doing, and it makes you feel like a rock star in a way. So I'm pretty confident that people will feel the same, and yeah, at least the game will be fun, which that's the main goal for a game.
Now, me personally, I mean, I used to be a fan of Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
Mm-hmm.
To me, dude, if this works as well as it looks in your videos, you're sitting on a potentially big hit. It looks fantastic. I know. The thing is, you don't want to go. Yeah, you don't want to get all too hyped or too excited. But when I saw it, and I keep seeing it because I follow you on Twitter, man, I'm like, this could be amazing. This could be so good, because at the end of the day, you don't really want to use a peripheral in virtuality at the same time. It'd be great if you could just use your hands, because air guitar itself is a big thing across the world. They have air guitar tournaments.
Yeah. I think that the game has potential. So yeah, it could be a big hit, but in order to be a big hit, it has a lot of things have to happen before.
Yeah.
Not to obviously it has to be super fun to play. It has to be accessible for everyone, because hand tracking, it's complicated. Some people grab things in a different manner. Sometimes you grab, some people grab things doing this, other people do that, other people do this. So depending on how you move your hands, the hand tracking will act differently. So polishing the game so the interaction is completely natural, that is the hard part. That's complicated, and I'm trying to do a good job there. But even if the game is super easy to use, even if the game is super fun to play, there are like other things that are in the middle of your way when you're trying to create a great hit. Yeah. Especially like you have to have like a great publisher, and you have to have like you have to get viral somehow, and you have to have like a big audience. And one of the problems right now in VR is that there are not so many users, right? Especially if the game is just focused on the Quest. So it's complicated, but yeah, I think that the game has the potential to be, at the very least, a good game. That's my goal. I'm trying not to think too much about like, oh my God, this could be like the next Beat Saber or something like that. Because yes, it has the potential, but I'm super cautious about this. I think I'm just like focused on that. Yeah. Sorry.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head as well. It is actually only really usable on the Quest at the moment. But even though it's a smaller audience, I think you've got a hardcore audience. So when you do, I take it, are you going to put this on Sidequest? Are you thinking about Sidequest?
At least the demo will be on Sidequest for sure. So because it's an easier way.
You could set up a GoFundMe or an itch.io there. And I think the other important thing is what you said about feedback, because how you place your hands is important, because how you might want to place your hands on that guitar might be different to someone else. And that then leads to a very important tutorial. Music. How do you go about with music in this game?
The first idea was obviously, come on, let's get AC/DC and Aerosmith and all the big ones. And that'd be great, obviously. But again, we went super conservative, and right now we are just focused on small bands. Like not local bands, but small bands that are technically super good and they have great music, but they are not super famous. And we are doing this because it's just easier for us to communicate with them. And that's pretty much it, really. And to be fair, we have contacted a lot of small bands that are great. Like the only reason why they are not famous is because they are not famous, really, because technically they are awesome. Especially this band that it's in the new video, it's the Electric Alley, and they sound like Aerosmith completely. They are great, and I'm really happy that we actually found them. And they are super excited about being in this kind of game, because it also, in the case that this is a big hit. And again, keep cool. Keep it down. But in the case it could be a great opportunity for them as well, because they really have all the pieces to be a big band. It's just that they didn't have their opportunity. And so this could be a good thing for a lot of people. And we are actually trying to be super fair with these bands. We don't want them to work for free. Right now, because there are not a lot of money involved at the moment, we are asking them to just give us their music, at least just for the demo. But when these get serious and there is money in the project, like proper money from Kickstarter or an investor or something, our plan is that everyone gets a cut of the music. So we don't want them to work for free or just give us the music for free. We want them, we want to be fair with them.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that this is a good first step for the game. So we start with small bands that have high quality in their music, and then when we get bigger, we hopefully we will start getting better music. So, and also there's another thing that we do have an editor for music. So if you have a PC, you will be able to create your own music. So if you have a band or you have your own MP3s and your own music, you will be able to play that which I think it's a nice thing.
That's fantastic. That's excellent. I was like, so what is your experience in game development and stuff, and what and why in particular virtuality? Obviously a lot of people try virtuality and become super passionate about it, so they're amazed by it. So yeah, what's your story in that field?
Well, I'm not a professional video games designer, but I'm a designer. I work for Microsoft in the mixed reality team in an app called Microsoft Maquette. It's like a VR app for prototyping.
Yeah.
And I've been like since the very beginning of VR, you know, like the first decade one, when the first time I tried it, like I knew that I had to move my career towards this new technology, and I was super excited from the beginning. And you know, I'm a designer, but I'm also a developer, and I know 3D, and you know, I know how to create a game, and I know how to create 3D experiences in general, and I'm passionate about it. So I usually work on apps and 3D apps and things like that. But you know, games are obviously more fun, and they usually like are more challenging because you have to take care of a lot of different dimensions like graphics, code, sound, gameplay. You know, like you have like a lot of things to solve, and I really like that. So yeah, that's why I like once in a while I try to create a little game, maybe just for me or just just to try, just because I had an idea. And I usually just put a video online. Most of the time, the videos are just like another video.
Yeah.
But sometimes I get a good idea and it kind of like gets viral, and that happens like a few times actually. But this one is obviously the biggest one. And yeah, I'm super excited about this. Like this could be like a life-changing experience somehow. So
I believe so. Have you spoken to Oculus? Have you been in contact with Oculus or?
I haven't actually. I have spoken to HTC. They got super interested in the game, and I've been waiting for Oculus. Actually, I've been trying to contact them, but yeah, I think that they are hard to reach, I guess.
But I think at the moment, I mean, Sidequest is doing big things on the Oculus Quest, and some developers are finding some success on there. So, I mean, I personally feel that I can't see this going any other way. Like, for me personally, I was just like, this is going to be fantastic. Hence the reason I reached out to try and find out some extra stuff about you and your background. So what's the timeline on this so far? Where are we in terms of development, and when hopefully you're expecting to be able to share this demo?
Yeah, well, sadly, I'm very slow on this because I have to work during the daytime, and I can only work on this at nights or on the weekends. So I'm slow at the moment. But my plan is to have something in a couple of months. So like hopefully, if everything goes well, in a couple of months we will have this demo out. And everyone will be able to try it.
The best bit for me was when you said you woke up with like the vision, and it kind of reminded me of Back to the Future, where the doctor slips and bangs his head and imagines the flux capacitor. And I'm like, that's amazing. That's almost like it was meant to be, which is really cool.
Well, to be fair, I worked in a similar concept a few years ago in 2015. But I dropped the idea because I had other things to do. But the idea, and I actually have a cool video about it, and it's very similar to this thing, but it's with a controller. But in that other game that was called Rock the Stage, you had 3 games in the game. So basically you had the guitar game, something similar to what we have now. But you also could just like grab a virtual microphone and start singing like in SingStar. And then you also have like the drums. So you were in the stage, and depending on which part of the song you were playing one of the 3 instruments.
Yeah.
And I think that the idea still applies. And what I would like to see the game evolve into is into something like this. So you play the guitar, but at some point you can play with another friend, like like multiplayer thing,
Yeah.
and your other friend is singing, and another friend is actually like playing with the drums. And if we had that, I think that's the best game you can have in VR, because you are playing with your friends.
Yeah.
You're I don't know, like at the end of the day, I think that VR is about being with other people, like having this the feeling of presence.
Absolutely.
With other people.
Yeah.
And if you are playing with other people, that would be amazing. And if you feel that you are in a gig hall with your friends, I think that's what VR is meant for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think you're right.
I get overexcited.
No, that's cool. Like VR does that to people. Like when you meet people in virtuality, it feels so much more real than meeting an NPC in a normal game.
Absolutely.
As you said, you feel presence, and I think you also feel the presence of others while you're in there. You know, like Rec Room, VR chat, and stuff. It's like, wow. I think a lot of people will want to see this succeed. That's what I feel.
I hope so. Again, I think it's complicated because the audience is quite small. It is not just like creating a tabletop game where everyone could buy it.
No.
This is just for Quest users, and there are not so many of us. So I'm a bit worried about that. The idea is that the game from the very beginning will be able, it will be available not just for the Quest, but also for a normal Rift, like a slightly different version that somehow you can work with the controller.
Well, I've heard rumors that they're trying to get hand tracking working on the Rift S now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they are, because it's awesome.
That'd be great.
And they do have the technology. But yeah, they should totally do that, because hand tracking is great. I'm not against controllers, though. I think that controllers are also great, and they provide you with a lot of accuracy, and that's super important when you are in VR.
Yeah.
So I don't think that hand tracking is going to be the solution for everything, but some things will work way better with hand tracking, especially like the shell, for instance. Just being able just to touch buttons with your hands is so much easier.
Yeah.
So the thing is that ideally, the game will also work with controllers, and that will enable more people to play the game, and hopefully they will be able to to participate on the Kickstarter, because I'm really hoping that the Kickstarter campaign actually works well, because that way I could just like work on this full time.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Yeah,
but at least like in the Index with the Knuckles, it would be fairly possible to actually port the game as it is, like with the finger tracking, but with the Index. And Oculus is also working on this controller called Jedi. I'm sure you know about it. And that's supposed to have finger presence as well. So
and PlayStation. And PlayStation, apparently.
And PlayStation. Yeah. So, this might happen at some point. It's just, it seems like it's very early to do that now. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But in any case, I'm enjoying the ride. I'm just working on this. And, it's been great so far. So.
And you've got to explore it, because if you don't, you'll always be thinking, what if? So you've got. You haven't really got a choice. You've got to do it. But
yeah. That's the thing. Like, I remember when I was working in this other game in 2015, I remember seeing this guy publishing a video on Reddit. And it was about an idea of you have some cubes coming to you, and you have these swords, like these sabers, that you could just like cut the cubes. And he was just a guy just publishing this very small idea, and now they are Beat Saber.
Yeah.
And I like, every time I think about that, I dropped the game that I was working on, that I think it was a good game. I feel like, oh shit, I could be this guy. So yeah, I'm not dropping this idea. I really want this to at least to exist.
Good for you.
I don't know if it will succeed, but at least it has to exist, because otherwise I'm going to hate I'm gonna hate myself for the rest of my life. So
end of the day, man,
yeah.
you'll be the first air guitar in VR. And
yeah, well, that's something, right?
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, man. I really appreciate that.
All right.
Cheers, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Good talking to
you.
you.
All right. Yeah.
Good luck. Take care.